Carolla and Dr. Drew. Loveline, coast to coast.
Hey, it is Loveline. I'm Dr. Drew. Adam Carolla is away in Las Vegas. Is he coming up? He'll be coming up soon. He's sitting at a control room in Las Vegas trying to get an ISDN line set up. I'm here with the Barbi Twins, Shane and Sia. Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, pleasure being on.
They have a new book out called Dying to Be Healthy, and it's really quite an amazing book.
Thank you. God, what an endorsement. Thank you.
I'm seriously. I wouldn't say it if I really didn't think so. And in this book is a very personal discussion about your own struggles with eating disorder, yes?
Absolutely.
And sort of what I like about this is what's folded into it is a discussion about addiction and codependency and recovery.
Right.
Absolutely.
And how those issues sort of go together. Because I deal with that all the time.
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I run a large recovery program, and in there people often have eating disorders.
Right.
And I see, now you correct me if I'm wrong, what your guys' feelings about this are, but more often than not, when somebody gets real focused on their recovery, the eating disorder symptoms subside very, very nicely. They need to focus on some issues pertaining to that also, but a 12-step recovery very often reduces the symptoms of eating disorders.
Absolutely. I really do. I believe that it's a threefold disease. I really do. Like, it's a dry drunk if you just, Well,
I think early on you learn that it's character defects and not that bulimia is just a symptom. So you can just trade off the symptoms.
You can transmit
You could be
the
a
disease.
sexual addict. You can be, excuse me, we went off for a while.
No, you're fine. You're
okay.
there. That's just the wonderful equipment here at Westwood One.
You could be a sexual addict. You could be a alcoholic. It's all the same thing. It's just a different symptom, but have the same character defects of control, being a victim, and all that lovely stuff. And
your
I think
drug of choice is either food or the absence of it, bulimia.
Now, you guys were very, very much sort of public. Your images were all over the world in the early 90s, yes? Mid-90s.
Yeah.
And at that same time, you were also suffering with all this.
Yeah, actually, I'm never going to blame. I'm going to take responsibility, not be a victim. We had never planned to, be in Playboy or be a pinup or anything like that. I had always gone to school and wanted to venture that way. I believe that, I don't know which came first, but basically maybe our insecurity made us feel this need to have to do that, and made us feel, okay, we can validate ourselves if we're on the two covers of Playboy.
You had mentioned victimization. Was Dad one of the victimizers?
No.
Were there males that were victimized? Do you think that was part of trying to gain some sort of control over men?
No, I do believe our father was divorced from our mother, and I do notice, I do mention this in the book, that girls that grow up in a family where the father is absent, they do have a tendency to try to validate themselves through men, either through modeling, stripping, centerfolds.
So you had that need, you felt. Now,
well, he was a good father, though. It's just that
as alcoholics go.
Very well. Yeah, he was
a functional alcoholic that did receive recovery.
And your mom's in recovery now too.
Absolutely.
And she must be a nice, important role model for you guys.
Absolutely.
She's very good. She's a therapist, alcohol and drug alcohol.
Now, what's interesting to me is that we sometimes get a few people show up when we have guests in the studio, and tonight there was a crowd of people to get your autographs. So do you still get followed around? Is there still a big buzz wherever you guys go?
It's so surprising and so flattering that, especially guys, after all these, vomiting stories, that they still like us. God bless them, because I thought we lost our commodity as a pinup. I think it is. I'm going to pat ourselves on the back.
Maybe
brave of us to talk about this, because no one was out there. It's in Hollywood to be a drug addict, an alcoholic, even to sleep around. But for a woman to have an eating disorder or weight problem, that's just you lose yourself as a commodity.
If you admit that you have a problem that way.
Absolutely.
That you're a pig and then you get rid of it. Absolutely.
Now, you guys are your eating disorders active right now?
Well, you're never cured.
It's a chronic thing.
You're never cured. It's a process. There's
no,
days
I'd say we have a lot of years of sobriety now.
I mean, you guys look great. Is there?
Thank you.
No,
but it doesn't have to do with that. There is times.
No, but I mean, what did you lose by? You know what I mean in terms of
nothing.
As a commodity?
Insanity. I notice the sky is blue now. That the whole my whole life is different. Yeah. There were times that we've been told to take Prozac, and
the highs and lows aren't there. It's more serene.
Right. Instead of Prozac, I really worked at.
There's Adam.
There's Adam. We hear you.
Hey.
Woohoo! I can
Hey there,
hear
Barbi Twins.
Watch
Oh,
out.
my
You
poor
hear me?
sister
Oh, we
can't
hear you.
I can hear you.
Hi, Adam.
Hi.
My husband's a big fan of yours from The Man Show.
Oh, well, thank him. I'm a big fan of yours from Playboy.
Oh, thank you.
And
Oh, yes.
And all the talk of vomiting hasn't shut you down, Adam?
No.
Really? Oh, he's kinky. That's wonderful.
I got it all out of my system in the late 80s. What year did that? Well, you guys had a few pictorials, right?
Yeah, we did 2 of them in the 90s.
Oh, in the 90s?
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
90s.
Holy Christ. Where's the semen gone? Yeah, that was great. You guys on the beach there and rolling around and by the pool. That was great.
Not to take you off the frolicking, Adam, but they really have written a substantial book here. And I don't really say that very often if somebody's just sort of I'm pretty critical about books.
I know.
Right.
I listen to your show.
This one is pretty substantial. I'm impressed.
you know,
and they wrote it without nobody. No technical consultant.
Not even her. I mostly wrote the book.
Well, don't give away your secrets that way. I mean,
no, what's funny, though, is that I always, when I listen to you, I thought, wow, he really knows how to speak to, I think you do such a brilliant job on MTV to be hip enough, yet really know the language of 12-step without turning off people. I think you're doing a good job educating both of you guys. Entertainment-wise and all that towards, it's really...
And Adam, you make it funny.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I saw, now, what did you guys do, a True Hollywood Story?
We did. And it was funny
that was
because
great.
we actually asked not to do it, you know, and they kept asking us, please, 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 because we're private, I just didn't think we contributed anything, and they kept saying for the book, if you can say your life, and I thought, all right, if we can do it, without getting too much sensationalized, if we can do it where we can help other women, then that's part of our recovery, to give back what was given to us.
Well,
because it's difficult talking about it.
Well, now we've talked to people who have done those or who have had them done to them, and sometimes people are satisfied with them, and sometimes people feel like they weren't portrayed.
We're bulimic. Of course we weren't satisfied.
But do you feel but you feel that you were somehow portrayed inaccurately? Or
no, they actually were
misrepresented?
very, very kind, but of course we didn't like the way we looked. It's new.
The lighting was horrible.
That's got to be...
Put a Taliban burqa on us and we were fine.
I would think that would make some other women angry. Adam, that these women don't like how they look. You know what I'm saying?
Huge natural breasts on these two. Or at least, if not natural, they looked natural, and that's all I needed.
We are natural.
We
just always saw that as a fat roll. We never knew that we could make a commodity of.
2 beautiful fat rolls right next to each other in the bra.
And some fat rolls in the back end, too.
That must be frustrating for them. That just really proves our point. I think something you and I
think when you grow up, you don't like them. Especially if you have weight problems. So it was really bizarre for us that we could actually... almost therapy to get your clothes off, and because people that are dysfunctional always live in the future, that they'll look better, so you have to at that moment in time say, okay, like it or not, this is it. And you have to come to terms. And when you pose naked, it's coming to terms with you living in that moment, and that's really difficult to do.
Let me ask you guys a tough question, because I think talking to Drew about it, but I can't remember. A lot of twins, I think, have this me and you against the world kind of syndrome, and you guys feel like you're looking out for each other and covering each other's backs. But do you think you would have been better off as separate people or as twins? Because it seems to me that sometimes twins create this sort of false sense of us against the world.
Well,
do you know what I'm talking about?
It's almost dysfunctional to be a twin, because right at birth you're codependent, and if you come from an alcoholic family,
we've had double-decker.
Yeah, it really is, because you have...
We don't know how it is to be a singleton.
Normal, absolutely. So right away we're finishing each other's sentences. We're just... there's a lot. Well, the main thing is when you're young, a child develops their own ego boundaries. A twin doesn't. We we don't know where ours end and start. So right there we have an identity problem.
Speak for yourself.
Now, are you guys together? Are you together each and every day?
No. She's married to Ken Wall, who, by the way, inspired me to write the book.
Really?
Yes, he did.
We're recovering alcoholic.
He's mentioning.
What's the longest you've gone without seeing each other?
When I lived in Hawaii. That
That's
was
right.
about 2 years.
Right.
Oh, really? You
But
guys
we
were
were
apart for
calling
that
each
long?
other a lot.
No, we don't miss seeing each other. I know how she looks. I look in the mirror, that's fine. We do talk to each other quite a bit on the phone.
You know what's really insulting is when people ask us if we're into each other. Please, we have higher standards than that.
Been there, done that too, deja vu.
Yeah, we get the same question. All right, Drew, you want to take some calls?
Let's go right ahead. Here we go. This is Justin, 15.
Yes. Whenever, I started coming out to my friends and stuff because I'm gay, and I've come out to a lot of my friends, and I'm in 10th grade, and last year is when I started telling people. And I told my mom about a week or two ago, and she was fine with it too. She said she still loved me and she won't love me any less.
That's nice.
But she says she doesn't want me coming out at school because, do you remember the Matthew Shepard thing that happened in like 1998, I think it was?
In Wyoming? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
And she doesn't want that.
I think that's very interesting that Mom sort of picked up the banner for you and worried about what is worrying on your behalf for things that most of our callers usually worry about. But I think that's a fantasy on her part, that somehow, I really think that you need to decide for yourself what you want to do and not let her anxieties dissuade you. It sounds like you've handled this in a very mature way. You've been slowly telling people, you've been testing the water, people are okay, you're developing a support base, then you tell your mom, she's good with it. I think you can go on and continue to represent yourself to the world as you are without being too fearful.
15, he's in the 9th or 10th grade at high school level?
Yeah, but they're accepting him. He's had good results so far.
I know, but why chance it?
Well, how big are you, Justin?
Well, what do you mean?
I think it's a viable question, because if he's 6'4", 250, you got nothing to worry about.
Well, I'm like 5'11", 6 foot almost, and I weigh about 140, and I'm not like big. But
that ain't gonna work.
No.
But,
tell everyone you're straight. Bi at worst.
And
Justin, look, I don't mean to poke fun, but in high school, it's not a good idea to announce that you're uncircumcised.
That you're anything.
It's not a good idea to announce anything.
That you like decaf coffee.
Right, because people are looking for an opening in which to make fun of you with, and they will find it.
But
and why give them that?
But
I don't mean you have to cower in shame and in fear.
Well, it's just I want to tell everybody, that way I don't have to like act like I'm straight or whatever,
Yeah, I understand.
I have a lot of friends that, they help me out and stuff, and I'm not saying, I just want to know if there's any like security precautions I can take to make sure, I'm not saying that I'm taking my mom's side about not coming out, because I really want to, because I'm pretty sure I'm 100% gay, because I've experienced these feelings forever, and I try to push them away, and they just keep coming back.
No, Justin, it's not about whether or not you're gay. It's about what is in the interest of prudence and safety. And I listen, it sounds like you've handled things just properly so far. You have a great group of supportive friends. Keep them around you. That's all. Right?
Yeah, but what about, maybe Mom doesn't want her kid being gay and have to deal with the, PTA and the open house and all that crap. You know what I'm saying?
Like she'd be okay with it. I just think she has a little fantasy that somehow every gay male gets beaten up.
Can I add something? Mm-hmm. My mother's gay. She's a lesbian, and I think she handles it very well in the way that she doesn't announce it. Is more like it's understood, so you get it if you're supposed to get it. If not, if you're ignorant to it, you won't.
She doesn't push it on people whatsoever.
So the ignorant people that are, they'll pick up on, the ignorant people will pick on people that are feminine, not necessarily gay. So if it's understood, he's going to be kind of drawn to the right people.
Was she really struggling with her sexual identity when you guys were growing up?
Not at all.
No.
She already knew she was gay.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
She just wanted kids.
She lived with She
now,
always... Okay.
Help me understand that.
Do you think that affected you guys in being so, incredibly straight?
Female.
Yeah, no, it's funny because we're very kind of tomboyish and everything. Our image is more our mother. She's very feminine. She was, a beauty contestant. She was a model, the whole thing.
What people would call lipstick lesbian.
Absolutely,
all the
very
way.
feminine.
And yet my sister and I were very
tomboyish and into sports and everything like that. She lived with a woman, and I think she felt very good about that. And she only told us when we were 18. We
appropriately.
But
you understood.
Yeah.
Was there a family at any point in your life?
The only thing...
With her? No.
But Dad was like just sperm donor? I mean, what was Dad?
No, actually, they split when we were about 3.
She saw him and she said, "Oh, he'd make nice-looking kids."
Yeah.
And so she got married
babies.
with him, and then she just knew. She tells me that she feels that gay is not a choice; it is in you.
It's in her, sure.
Yes. And I believe that because she tried to make it work with my father, and she knew it was just basically for kids.
She wanted to be a mother, and she wanted to have a family, but then she found herself that it wasn't being completely
The
honest.
dysfunctional part is having to
Hide it.
identify with this guy because it's, you kind of get so that you feel like you're lying if you're not being honest.
Interesting.
But I agree with you. It's none of anyone's business. He just wants to, load it out like I did.
Brandy, 15.
Yep.
Hey, Brandy, what's up?
Well, I'm sleeping with a married man.
At 15, how old is he?
29.
Does he have any kids?
Yeah, he has 4.
He's quite a gentleman. Sir
Yeah.
Walter Raleigh, is that his name?
Yeah, what a dynamite individual. I'd like to get to know him better.
In fact, let's elect him to office or something. He really should be a leader amongst men.
Well, I called before when Psalm 41 was on, and I asked you guys what I should do, and you guys told me to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Well, we just kind of started having sex.
Ladies,
Alrighty.
let's let the Barbie twins chime in here.
Oh, didn't listen to them the first time, did you?
Well, she'd listen to a bunch of guys is the point. Then maybe you guys can get through to her.
I have to say that if you're 15, this guy is a pervert. I mean, no two ways about it. He's just using you.
I know, I understand that, but it's like,
You got to think about the honesty issue. He has a commitment with a woman, and you wouldn't want to be that other woman. You have to have some kind of
he's married?
respect. Yeah,
Married with 4 kids.
you got to have some kind of respect for that other woman.
yeah.
See, the more you get involved with this guy,
He doesn't care about you. He's going to be doing this to other women too because there's no commitment here
and
from his side.
That oxytocin is going to be flowing in you. You're going to invest yourself in him, and he's going to just walk away, find another 15-year-old.
Yeah, Brandy, you don't exist to him. That's the reality. You're just an object.
You're just a young toy.
Yeah, and
I feel bad for you.
Well, to be fair to Brandy, his wife probably doesn't exist to him either.
That's true. No, nor do his kids, for that matter. But the fact is,
Don't give her hope.
I'm more curious about what it is that would make Brandy find this an acceptable situation.
I don't know. It's like sometimes he makes me feel really special.
Do you think that she maybe has an absent father kind of thing too, like you guys had to deal with? Is it?
Yes.
that kind of
Also,
thing?
wait, she probably, true or false, Brandy, do you feel that you want to live out the fantasy and you feel like you're living it out, getting it out of your system by being with him?
Well, okay, I was thinking about it, and I think that I'm doing this because my dad wasn't there, and I'm kind of looking for a father figure, and in a way he is, but it's like there's something else there.
Yeah, there's something else there in that I would...
He's giving you more attention than your dad did.
Well,
Exactly.
that, and I think Brandy's got more going on than just an abandoning father.
Yeah, I do, but
Yeah.
See, the bad thing is that you're starting to use your sexuality as a manipulation to get men into your life, and that's a really bad road to go down. That's what strippers and prostitutes do because they had father issues. And it's good to be right away to develop healthy relationships and to go to therapy about your dad. I mean, your dad will be always how he is. He won't change, but you're not going to find it by manipulating your sexuality towards him.
yeah.
All right, but listen, you called once before. We told you to get away from this guy, and you slept with him. So, look, let's use a little reverse psychology. Marry this guy and have his kids.
Have many
Promise
kids.
me you'll do that. Don't call back until you're pregnant
With the 3rd child.
with his 5th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
baby.
Well, I don't blame, and especially if I look like the Barbie twins growing up. Oh my God! And by the way, I'd like to buy one of your eggs. Drew, what do you think?
There's a harvesting procedure I can go through this evening if you want.
Start the stimulation. I'm going to harvest one tonight.
They're on eBay.
Clear out the freezer. Throw Lycus's lean cuisines out in the hall. We need room in that freezer for a Barbie twin egg. But as a woman, when you're a little bit screwy and your dad left you and you're spinning around emotionally and you have something that guys want, I know we can tell them not to do it, not to rely on it, not to fall back on that. But how can they really do that?
What,
do you know what I mean?
What are the other ways that they can get out from under that
You could
drive?
say you have other options. When you say don't, they're going to use it.
But it's such a drive for them to use arousal and to use their
Because
sexuality.
it's so easy, though.
But what can give them some sort of gratification in
to
life?
look at it as a challenge. Just to say that's too damn easy. Anyone can do that. You're above that. Use something else. There's other options. Go down those paths. Like a challenge. I always wanted to be an athlete when I was young, and I wasn't good at sports. But it was a challenge, so I went for it. Just like that.
Interesting.
All right,
Adam?
Drew, it looks like we got to take a break here, right?
Absolutely. Are you? Is your nose still stuffed up?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm feeling good.
Yeah. All right. So I can throw to break?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
All right, we're here with the Barbie Twins. When we come back, we're going to talk to Dawn, who says that one of the twins said something that really impressed her when we get back. We're back. It's Loveline. Adam is in Las Vegas. Yep, we're here with the Barbie Twins. They have a new book called Dying to be Healthy. All the proceeds from that book is going to what organization?
Different various eating disorders that there's a list in here.
And I kid you not, this is a substantial book. Seriously.
And Drew, stop being condescending.
No,
and do you guys have enough? Do you guys have enough money that you can just give it away?
I was just telling Drew, we felt so guilty of all our blood money from all this TNA. We decided to.
We made good money doing nothing.
We're also doing a calendar signing tomorrow. That's
right.
what else we wanted to plug. And those proceeds will be going to the firemen and policemen in USO. This September 11th.
It's a tribute to our veterans. Our father was our favorite vet, of course, a Navy pilot. But we really want to. Veterans Day is coming up. We thought it was very appropriate to do a tribute calendar signing.
Our poster is a number one selling poster with the military right now because it has a flag, and
that's why the guys go for it. Adam, there's a flag in the picture.
That's all I could figure out.
Wait, what is on this calendar?
The calendar is just us. It's funny,
Posing.
But
we're bigger.
Yeah,
we're bigger.
We're size 10.
You're bigger what?
We used to be like a size 2.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
2, please. We never been that.
Okay, well.
Don't exaggerate. Maybe a 4. But, we're bigger.
What are you now, 4.5?
No, we're size 10 or 8. Yeah, we're big still. But the thing is, small bone, but big. The thing is,
how big, how tall are you guys? You guys are tall,
5'9".
right?
Yeah, 5'9".
And D cups?
No, we're 34C about.
Yeah.
We're not as big as people think we are.
So when we say we are big, I'm saying that we look like a wrestler.
Yes, we're muscular. We're bringing out the healthy look, hopefully. And hopefully we're also motivation for women because basically we're saying if we can do it, you can do it. I mean, we became so fat efficient from all the starving we did, and we just took our knowledge and applied it towards our life, and I think we look healthier and better now.
I want to hear what Dawn's got to say. Dawn, 22.
Yeah, okay. Earlier, one of the Barbie twins said something about, thinking in the future and, living for the future. Like, one day I'm going to be this and then I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Or am I not making
I
sense?
sure do.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing about living in the future, it's kind of dysfunctional thinking. I've through therapy, I've been taught to live in the now, or not in your senses. A lot of, drug addicts say, they don't have any future goals or anything like that. If you live a healthy life, you should live in the moment. That most of us daydream in the future, or we live in the past.
A big secret, big key, gratitude. That's the difference.
Yeah, appreciate what you're doing and do 2 things: contributing and connecting in the world, and that keeps you in the now, but out of the body by doing charity and something contributing.
Mm-hmm. Well, my question is this. I guess I'll explain a little bit first. I remember being 18 and looking in the mirror and saying, okay, I'm going to quit this destructive behavior and that and this and that, and by the time I'm 21, I'm going to come out as this kind of person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then about 3 days ago, I did it again. By the time I'm 25, I'm going to do it, and I didn't link it with the time before. And I never knew that anybody else felt that way until she'd said that. And I was wondering, how do you really
Yeah, I did that with the dieting. In 2 weeks, I'll be thin and perfect. Right now, I didn't want to be in my body. You just, it's really an unhealthy way of thinking. You have to do your best today and appreciate what you've done in the progress, not the perfection. You're going for the perfection. Something in the future, and the future doesn't exist. I mean, who knows? We could all blow up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you have to just live in the now.
Yeah, we could have been in the World Trade Center, you know.
That's nice.
Exactly.
I'll be on a plane in about 16 hours, ladies. So thank you. Heading back to L.A. And let me just say this: do you guys get out to Vegas much?
We did MTV Spring Break.
Yeah.
And Drew, you've been to Vegas many times. Do you notice how ill people speak of Los Angeles, the folks who live in Vegas? It seems like every cab driver is a transplant from L.A.
Yes.
And they always they have no remorse. They're like, "Where are you in from?" L.A. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I used to live out in L.A., but the corrosive smog, the riots, the crime, the high taxes, earthquakes, I got the hell out of there. And you're like, yeah, thanks, a-hole. I'm going home tomorrow. I'll be raising my kids there. Thanks. Thank you very much. Do you want a tip now?
Normally I get those guys like up in Big Bear and, Northern California.
You'll get them in Vegas, too, Drew.
Good times. All right. This is Jason. He's 25.
Hey, I can't believe I'm on. I had a question, I guess it's kind of for Dr. Drew, but I'd like to hear what Adam has to say. But I just met a girl, and just met her, so I'm not in love or anything. And she told me that she has herpes, and I guess I just kind of trying to get the best information I can to make a good decision.
Which herpes?
She has genital herpes?
Yeah, I think so, but I should probably have to clarify that with her.
Yeah, well, she can take a medication that will decrease the probability that a virus is being shed or that you'll have an outbreak. You can wear condoms and decrease the probability of contracting the disease. And if you limit your contact to a time in which she's not experiencing any symptoms and wear a condom, it's a reasonable risk.
Yeah, if he wears a condom, she could have a bloody ulcer. He could put a condom on, he'd be fine.
Well,
but Jason, when did she drop this herpes bomb on you?
Well, I met her Thursday, and then Friday we went out, and she stayed over at my house, and we're like, just like in the bed and stuff.
And what were you guys doing?
Well, I like, sucked on her nipples and stuff, and fooling around kind of stuff.
And sucked on nipples.
And then when I tried to kind of go further than that, she stopped me. And then we're just kind of cuddling. And
maybe she just wanted to stop.
Well, it could be an excuse to get you to stop. But on the other hand, I'm impressed that she gave you the information up front. A lot of people would sort of let it rip.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, nobody's that honest.
Yeah.
Right.
No, hold on. Nobody says stop. I have uses herpes. Why? That when they just say I crapped my pants. Don't go down there. It's less humiliating, please.
Well, it wasn't
nobody uses herpes as an excuse.
Oh, so you mean it must be true? She's just an honest person.
It is true. Well, look, you're a Barbie.
Yeah. Well, she told me because I was kind of telling her I just try to avoid getting anyone pregnant or getting STDs.
Look, she sounds like a substantial person.
Yeah, she's a keeper.
Yeah.
And it's genital herpes, by the way. I mean, that's why she stopped you, right?
Right. That must be what she's talking about. But I think this is forge on. Move forward.
What?
I think you should forge on with that relationship, yeah.
All right.
Jimmy, 13. Jimmy.
Yeah.
Hi, Jimmy, what's up?
Well, I was at school today.
Yeah?
You guys were talking, like, if you masturbate too much, that your penis won't grow right.
Won't grow back?
Won't grow right.
Won't grow right. I'm going to put you on hold because that phone connection is awful. Adam, you've been experimenting with this for years.
I was going to say it's untrue, but then I took a look down and thought, the kid may have a point.
Maybe that's the problem here.
Would you like a calendar?
Yeah. Well, look, you Barbie twins already screwed my penis up in the early 90s.
That was the incident that was that incident, wasn't it? They had to sew it back on.
No, I really mean it. I feverishly beat off to these two, and they play both pictorials.
I'm sure
both of them.
I'm sure they're very impressed with that information.
Adam. I can use every compliment. I'm very dysfunctional here.
I thought it was Jenna Jameson that caused you to pull your penis off. No?
Well, it had just healed. It had just healed from the Barbie twins.
I see.
And it scarred over, and it was the doctor said it was coming along nicely, and then the Jenna Jameson on DVD came out, and there it went again.
Pow, pop.
That's right. Now I'm keeping it off.
This is TC, who's also 13. Where do you keep it, Adam?
Yeah, you think I'm going to tell you so it'll wind up your ass? How dare you?
TC, go ahead.
I'll never see it again.
Hey.
Hey there.
I got a joke for you.
For Adam? I hope.
Both of you.
For both of us?
All right, go ahead, TC.
Okay. God brings Osama bin Laden and George Bush together.
Yeah?
He asked bin Laden, you get one wish. What is it? And bin Laden says, put a 100-foot wall around Afghanistan. And then God says, granted. And then he asked George Bush, and he says, what would you like? And so George Bush thinks for a minute, and then he says, fill Afghanistan full of water.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's
a few words of encouragement, Adam. You had the way.
Well, let me give you a tip, TC. You're young. You didn't make fun of the Polacks, the Jews, the blacks. There was almost no racial stuff in there at all.
So he's got to work on that.
That's the cornerstone to good comedy.
So
you can work religions, you can work
shame,
ethnicities,
humiliation, abuse. Those are the three key words in comedy. Is that right?
Right.
Oh yeah,
but it was clean.
Okay, Mike is 20.
But clean without funny is an empty victory.
I see.
Well, I don't care about it.
Mike?
Hold on.
Mike?
Mike just told you to hold on, Drew.
Yeah, I'm dropping him off here. Katie, 17. Katie?
Oh, you're on a roll.
Try this here. Katie?
Can you hear me?
There we are. Go ahead.
Okay. My question is it possible to get pregnant if a guy jacks off and then fingers you?
With the same hand?
Yeah, but Katie, you could make dream up a scenario as easily as any of us can, whereby there's a possibility this stuff can happen, right?
No, it actually did happen.
No, I understand it actually did happen, but
I see.
The point is, no one could give you a number that predicts the probability that some sort of haphazard encounter with semen, the probability that would lead to a pregnancy. If you are concerned, you want to take emergency contraception. It's something you can take within 72 hours of contact that will prevent an egg from being released and prevent a pregnancy.
He did this to himself, and then he did you?
Yeah.
I tell you, I think this guy's a keeper. Because I always say I'm going to do stuff to women, and then I beat off, and then I call it a night.
You fall asleep and smoke?
Yeah, I fall right asleep. Yeah, I get myself pregnant. I mean, I got all kinds of grandiose plans for the woman, but then once I get off, that's it. So the fact that this guy kept going at you after he was done is quite a testament to his will.
With his hand, though, see.
With his hand, and Katie, you didn't get him to do that move where he wipes it under his armpit real fast or anything.
How long ago did this happen, Katie?
What?
How long ago did this happen?
Well, the first time I actually realized it happening was Saturday night.
So it's more than 3 days out. So how about the last time?
I'm sorry, what?
You said that was the first time you realized it had happened.
Yeah, see, we've been kind of doing stuff since the middle of October.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday night was the first time. When was the next time?
No, see, that was the first time I actually noticed it. I think it happened before that.
I see. The last time.
This guy sounds like quite a gentleman, by the way. Let me, Katie, I'm going to try to describe this guy to me. You tell me if I'm wrong, all right?
Yeah.
I'm picturing a guy, monogram blazer, ascot.
Postgraduate educated.
Postgraduate education, of course, well-traveled.
It's like a young Thurston Howell. A young Thurston Howell.
Tassels on his shoes, has a pewter cigarette case that he uses, always opens the door first for the ladies. Am I right?
A little OCD.
I hate to break it to you because you're usually always right, but you are so far off.
Oh, he's shocked.
Are you kidding?
Shocking.
Shocked. Going the other way.
Were you telling me this guy has a mullet and drives a lowered pickup truck?
No, really, he's a good guy. He's 18. He's in school with me. He's going to college.
And he wears a mullet and drives a lowered pickup truck. Okay.
He can't wipe his hand off before he goes in?
See, he didn't, I don't know he realized it. See, what usually happens is he does this when I give him head.
Oh, he finishes himself off.
No, it takes him too long, so I let him do it, and then I just finish it for him.
All right, you just be careful.
I see, okay.
What can you say here? Be careful. This is Will, 29. Will?
Hello.
I mean, what are you going to say? Get the morning after pill, put it in your medicine cabinet, use it if you feel you've been exposed, and be careful.
Yeah, she's not pregnant.
Will.
Hi.
I will.
I have a weird question. My brother, he was into veganism, and
And then he went into raw, where they don't eat any food or any food that's cooked.
Hygienic. Just
And
raw
then
nuts,
he-
fruits, and vegetables.
Raw.
We did that for
You did
years.
that too, huh?
And
Okay.
then
How'd that work?
I liked it.
All right.
And then Will?
He started reading about breatharianism, where you don't eat any food whatsoever, and you're supposed to like live longer or something like that.
Eat no
But-
food whatsoever?
Yeah,
There is such a thing
You're
out
supposed to like stare at the sun for a little bit in the morning or something stupid like that.
Oh my God!
Did he read the 21st Survival of the 21st Century? Had to.
I went to Hippocrates Center.
He read a couple things.
I read the
there's
same
a
one.
website out of Australia that talks about it.
He's definitely bulimic because we went that direction.
Jesus Christ! I took
You
a
just- you
50. I took a 50-minute flight from L.A. and was pissed off because I only ate twice on it.
You know what it is obsessive in the way that he wants to do better.
And better.
He's competing with himself.
Yeah.
First he competed with what's the most outrageous, and it's never enough. And so that
But
he's
he-
at the point of
You want
not
to be like a
eating.
yogi.
But
And
it's
I wasn't thinking too much about it. Then we were out.
You live
out
off your
in the
own
middle
fat
of nowhere, and he was, he had his back turned. Obviously, he was taking a piss. I went up to talk to him, and he turned around and he had a jar in his hand, and then he drank
Drink
from
the
it.
piss, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
And
nice.
I wonder what kind of damage. I mean, because he said he does research, and you're like you can drink it 4 times, and it's not toxic or something like that.
Well, I mean,
I
they use
wonder
it like a
There's a lot of
vaccine
hygienists
or
that do that.
homeopathic, where it's supposed to trigger your own immune system. I've heard good. It's contradicting, but it's also radical.
Yeah, it's very radical.
I call it crazy.
Yeah.
Drew,
And
jump in and what about number 2? What's he?
No,
What's he do with that?
it's number one.
God.
No, you don't eat that. Just
Put him
number 1?
away. If it's
But you
number
can
2.
tell how healthy you are by your number 2.
But you like the twins have heard about this though.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Interesting.
But-
Okay, so what? I mean, he says
I like being a vegan, but I've met radical vegans that did get to the point that it's called autolyzation, like a potato put in water. How the potato grows roots through its own cells. That's what you're doing. You're almost fasting off your ketosis off your own
yeah,
body.
potato uses water though to create
Yes.
carbohydrate.
Well, I know
it
it. It's a very good
splits
point.
I mean,
Well,
But
they
see,
try to say
humans-
sunshine in your own urine and just very minimal eating.
I mean, that
a little
is
bit of,
such total.
isn't it? Some people are
unadulterated.
fruitarians where they just eat fruit, no
Yeah,
chlorophyll.
even as a vegetarian, it's hard to advocate that because very few people know how to eat properly or the proper protein, and instead they turn to sugar, therefore making that cycle of hypoglycemic.
Yeah, I'd have to say probably the smartest doctor out there that really knows his stuff is Dr. Barry Sears with The Zone. He got a Nobel Prize with the aspirin because he talks about eicosanoids, and it's not a voodoo thing, but he really shows you that the bodies have never changed since the caveman
And they're
days.
dictated by hormones.
Yeah, and that we should be grazing nuts, fruits, and vegetables and meat. We're hunters, that our bodies
All right.
are made for that.
Listen, tell your
drinking
brother.
Yeah,
Look, hold on a second.
he's got some serious problems. Whether or not it's
Yeah, how
primary
come you
eating
didn't
disorder.
make fun of him and kick his ass right there on the spot? This guy's a serious disorder.
He's weak.
Yeah,
He needs some food.
He comes from the same family that his brother comes from.
Oh yeah, you live off urine and pollen that you inhale when you
Yeah.
run.
No, listen, he is either some major psychiatric disturbance. If it's a primary
Of
eating
course.
disorder, fine.
Bulimia.
And it may just be that, but it may be a much more serious thought
That's
disturbance.
Look,
And-
anytime you anytime you get too crazy about what you put in you, whether it's food or a penis,
It's obsessive compulsive.
It's obsessive compulsive. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Everyone needs a nice balance.
and of penis and food, and
Yes.
and there,
I like
in
that.
his case, the urine, the BUN can develop. You can develop an encephalopathy. It can be very serious. You can actually become uremic from that. So, all right. So we're going to take a break now. We're here at the Barbie Twins. The book is Dying to Be Healthy. They are doing a autograph signing of their calendar tomorrow. Where?
Tower Records on Sunset
What's
from
the time?
7 to 9, 7
9
o'clock.
p.m.
Yes, and it's
PM.
a whole tribute for the veterans. So we're going to sing the national anthem. The proceeds go towards a relief fund.
Fabulous.
So it will be fun, like a party. Come, come, come.
I'm Dr. Drew. I'm here in Los Angeles, and Adam is in Las Vegas. We'll be back.
Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. 1-800-LOVE-191.
Loveline, I'm Dr. Drew. I'm here with the Barbie Twins, Sia and Shane. Adam is in Las Vegas. What are you doing there in Las Vegas?
Yeah, really.
Actually, I'm working.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking.
Sure.
Yeah, well, if you want to call
Working
what I do
who?
work.
Are you dancing, or what is it you do there when you're in Vegas?
He's working women.
Yeah, I tried a little exotic dancing, but the thong back got tangled up in my ass hair, and it was
And the
it was
tassel
not
hit you in
pretty.
the face.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will be going to the Olympic Gardens after the show tonight, by the way.
Enjoy yourself. But listen, we had a really interesting discussion without you here about female female-cross-dressing. Something you and I have talked about in the past. And they were saying that they have actually described themselves as that, as women in drag.
Women,
Right.
yeah, that's the fastest words that I could come to my head, because we're very tomboyish into sports, and my mom, who happens to be gay, is very feminine, and I just felt like it was lucky I had her as a mother, because I could be me and not role play. I didn't feel like I had to be feminine and all this to attract a man. I didn't even feel like I had the need to have a man in my life. I'm happily married because we have, I think, a healthy friendship marriage. But when I dress up and I do this stuff, sometimes I feel, okay, this is what the public wants, but I feel like we say we're dressing in drag because we don't wear heels. We don't wear makeup. We play sports.
But it must do something for you, though.
What does it do for?
It's like a Superman syndrome. It's kind of fun coming out and
Superman. It's
But
no. What I'm
it's
saying.
intoxicating.
It's very
Yes.
intoxicating. It kind of replaces, like I said before, it kind of validates that feeling. You know, if you're on the cover of 2 Playboy covers,
love
then
you.
I couldn't
People
be
love
so
you.
bad
Yeah, people love
barfing in the bathrooms. You know, or sorry.
Hey, do you think males who wear the cowboy boots and sport the shirts with the sleeves cut off and drive around the raised
That's my
jeeps are sort
sister's
of
type. So
sorry? Do you think they're male impersonators?
that's a good point. You know, I used to even say that sometimes guys that are guys are almost latent homosexuals because they prefer the company of other men, and they only use women to make themselves feel masculine.
Adam?
There's a lot of men.
Adam,
Uh-oh.
are you listening?
dare you.
Are you
There
listening?
are a
How
lot
dare
of
you.
men out there that define themselves through their own sexuality, so they have to stay in that role playing. And it's funny because I watch some of these playmates and some of these sexy women, and it cracks me up that they are really that way all the time. And to me, it's like role playing. It's
so
like
when Pam
it's
Anderson
fun.
goes home, she's still
She's
cross-dressing.
always sexy. Yes,
always cross. She can't let that go. So then,
we're not sexy.
so it could be sort of. I think of it sort of a fetish. I mean, they have to be in
It could be
control
a fetish.
that way.
Or defining themselves. They would be lost without feeling maybe sexy all the time.
We were talking to Chris. Interesting. That's all there is to that.
That's all that there is. Where with my husband, I'm lucky to have my husband. We can watch sports together, bet against each other, and just be
go
me.
to the batting range.
Yes.
You know.
Batting rage is
Raging.
batting rage.
Oh, I'm raging. Okay.
Drew, it's true. You do a nerd fetish, don't you?
Yeah, I'm nerd dressing as nerd.
Right.
Yeah. Chris, you were saying about these dysfunctional relationships you love to get into.
Okay, yeah, I can't have any relationships, period, because if I have one with a normal girl, then she just doesn't want to put up with me. And
Because you're trying always to evoke a fight?
Right, yeah, kind of subconsciously. I don't, try to do this, but it just happens. And then I have this one girl who I keep going out with, and we break up. When we have a fight, we'll break up, and then we don't talk to each other for a couple of days, get on the phone, we start talking again, start fighting again. It's just
You guys must come from the same kind of family, basically.
Yeah.
Well, how old is Chris?
Chris is 16.
Oh, 16?
He's already into
listen,
this.
all bets are off at this age.
You know, another thing that I find with people that like to argue is so hard for them to communicate, just to say thank you, I love you. Those feelings are
Yeah, they have
so
to win.
traumatic that in order to actually be nice to someone, they have to really be rude to them so that they come
But it's
back
also
on.
familiar. It's your family.
It's the highs and the lows.
So it's a way of staying away from intense feelings and avoiding intimacy, and also the comfort of the patterns of the family from which you've come, right?
Yeah.
Chris, that's all.
Okay, so listen, you're 16, you're way ahead of the game because you're questioning it already.
Good for
And
you.
just keep an eye on yourself and keep working on yourself. Because, I mean, this is something that if you're over it at 25, it's a victory.
Alan's 35. Alan?
Hi.
What's going on?
I'm kind of scared and confused. I'm I've got my wife and son, and when I was 13, I was molested by my mom's 18-year-old male cousin.
Yeah.
And I've really been battling with just being attracted to guys and just being obsessed by it.
Mm.
And I've gone through SA and counseling and everything.
Good.
It just doesn't feel like they're able to get to the core of it.
Do you ever act on it?
I do. I go on the internet.
But
I go to gay porn sites and sometimes the chat rooms.
But it's in sort of a fantasy way. I mean, do you ever contact these guys? Do you ever have contact with guys?
I've been to bookstores.
Yeah, but what I mean is are you meeting guys or are you blowing guys?
No.
Do you feel that you're homosexual? Because I know how to answer that. I have known people in your predicament, and unfortunately it does happen quite a bit. And what it is that you're not necessarily homosexual, because I don't feel that homosexuality is a choice. I feel that you were trained to be seduced by something taboo.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, you feel that you can only be sexually aroused by something that is kind of kinky, dirty, not allowed, illegal, immoral. And so you're turning to this not because you're attracted to men, because it's not acceptable.
Yes.
But because that's probably was your very first stimulation, was another man doing it.
Okay.
So it's Pavlovian.
You know what the next step that you should do? Because I've heard, because I've been to SA as well, very good program, by the way. But I have found that so that men don't go to the route of molesting again, because you want to gain back your power. You've lost it out of that anger and that fear. You don't want to be dictated by, therefore you try to get your power back by trying to do it towards another child subconsciously. Mm-hmm. It's not even, it's in your fantasies to get rid of that hatred and that anger and that vulnerability. The best thing that you could do is go to a therapist and act it out with them, a grown-up, so that you get the anger out, take back your power, because you can't do it to another child.
He's calling him.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem like they've been able to help me with it.
Well, maybe you haven't really dug in and really done the work. And
honesty, man.
Yeah, and again, it's acting that out against a boundary and then seeing what kind of feelings are evoked. If you're able to act it out in a way where you just continue to repeat the patterns of the past, nothing changes. But when somebody sets a boundary and reflects back to you a little bit and does it properly, all of a sudden some pretty heavy feelings start coming up, and that's therapy. Maybe it wasn't the right therapist, maybe you didn't dig in far enough, but that is something that you can be treated for, and you really need to be treated for before someone else is hurt.
I know, I don't want to hurt my son or my wife.
Yeah.
Well, you know, though, I think
really supportive of me. I've acted out on it as far as going and doing things at the bookstore with other guys and stuff.
All right, well, just stay with the program, and maybe you're gay. Maybe this is something you've got to reconcile too. Maybe that's it's not about necessarily changing your sexual orientation. It is sorting through these feelings and history of trauma and the possibly post-traumatic stress reaction you have, and if there's also sexual compulsivity, dealing with that. And at the end of all that, there still may be a sexual orientation that's not heterosexual. We don't know.
Jesus, could you ever mention sex more and have it be less erotic? You know, you said sex about 18 times in the last 40 seconds, and my penis went down a quarter inch each time, Drew. It's now in my ass.
Vaporized.
Yes, you could. But, you know, here's something I want to bring up, too, which is I think it's important for the Allens of the world not to constantly beat themselves up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a wife, he's got a kid, he's trying to do right by them.
Yeah.
He's slipped up a little, but it's been sort of a fantasy. He's not hurt anybody. And he's going through life like damaged goods. Like it's this constant battle, and his life is almost, you know, he sounds tormented.
Yeah, he does sound
tormented. And I think it's you know, Alan should know that everybody has their own crosses to bear, and that we're all, you know, have struggles. And he shouldn't just feel like damaged goods and like, you know, he's an insane person.
You know,
he should feel better than he does.
Wait, one thing though, if you use pornography as something like an addiction, then that becomes destructive. But going out to whatever he does to release himself or to experiment, that's fine. But if he's filling up something and it's not enough and he has to get more and more and more of it, then it becomes destructive.
Julian is 25. Julian? Julian? Julian's asleep, maybe?
Oh.
There you are. What's up? Oh, he just woke up. Sorry to wake you up, Julian. Just,
just hang up on this, Jack.
You're late. You're late.
All right, then go now.
Okay, I have a question. I don't know what taking medication, Celexa, is. What is it supposed to be doing to me or what?
It raises the serotonin levels in your brain. It's a mild medication. There's very few side effects. It's for depression.
Okay.
You should have less panic, less anxiety, less mood disturbances, better sleep.
Okay, because...
Yeah, I think he's got the sleep part down.
No, I drink. I drink along with this medication.
Drink a lot of alcohol?
Yeah.
Well, it's possible that someone's giving you the wrong diagnosis. Maybe you're actually alcoholic. And about 100% of alcoholics are depressed. But the treatment for the depression of alcoholism is treating the alcoholism, not the depression. Here is Daniel's 15.
Oh, hi. I have a question about, like, when it's acceptable to lose your virginity.
Go ahead. What's the question?
15 years old?
Yeah.
Do you want to lose it?
Yeah. That's kind of what I was asking.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't, but, like, one of my friends at school, she's been, like, asking me if I want to have sex with her. It kind of shocked me at first, but she's been going at it for, like, a few weeks now.
Been asking
just bothering you for sex?
What?
Just bothering you for sex?
Yeah.
And she's your girlfriend?
No, she's a friend.
A friend.
How old is she?
She's the same age as I am. 15.
Jesus Christ. Where were these chicks when I was in high school?
If this is something that was sort of appropriate and if you were really ready for, you probably would have already done. Your senses, your instincts are telling you this is sort of a dangerous situation and something not good for you to get into, both by virtue of the fact that perhaps you're not ready, and secondly, there's something up with this young lady, right?
Yeah, I think there is, but I don't know. Like, she goes to my church and her parents seem normal, but I don't know, there's something about her that's just different.
Your parents seem what?
Her parents.
Her parents seem normal.
Normal.
Like, I don't think they molested her or anything, or there's any reason.
It doesn't have to be that, but it's just, just follow your instincts on this one.
Yeah, and there's guys, as we know from doing the show, there are guys who are 15 who are like inmates in their 30s, and then there are guys who are 15 who are like, who's the kid who are like Harry Potter? You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's a little on the younger side for 15. He hasn't blossomed yet, so don't rush yourself. And I agree, this chick should freak you out just a little bit, and you're probably right if your spidey sense is tingling.
Chuck is 13. Chuck?
Yeah.
What's up, Chuck? Oh.
Hey, I just got arrested a while ago, and my parents are like kind of just like tightening up, and like I want to reassure them that I'm not like going to turn into a felon like 3 other cousins I have.
What were you arrested for?
Reckless endangerment.
What does that mean?
Ran over a kid in his big wheel.
I pushed like 5-foot snowballs into Tudor. It's a street in Anchorage.
5-foot snowballs into what?
Into Tudor.
That's the name of a street?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay,
sure. Street.
It's also a style of house, you know.
It's the famous family in England.
These big snowballs rolled out into the street and could have hurt somebody?
Yeah.
Did you make the snowballs?
No, they were just pushed up by these graders that go down the street.
Have you had other behavior problems?
Like in school, yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe that's how you ought to convince your parents you're not going to become a felon. By maybe
well, listen,
hold
on. Anything involving snow should not be a crime.
No, but I understand that.
You can't help a 13-year-old boy's got to throw snow at somebody.
Even if it's 5-foot high snowball rolling down a hill at 30 miles an hour. Be that as it may, he's a behavior problem at school. Of course people are going to be worried about it. If this kid were a perfectly well-behaved guy with straight A's, something like this happened, they'd let him go.
Well, what's up with the rest of your family that's a bunch of felons?
My cousin, she's like done everything wrong. She is.
All right.
She's just like living on the streets and not for friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, oh man, I just like lost my breath there. But my mom's like, you're gonna end up like your cousin and live on the street, whatever. If you don't straighten up, I'm like, I'm not gonna like be a felon.
Right, but Chuck, the idea here is not to convince your parents verbally; it's to earn their confidence by getting your act together and flying straight.
And just get your grades up and play some sports, and don't pull any shivs on anybody in the 7th grade, and you'll be fine.
It's not what you say, it's what you do. Annie's 22.
But you got to know, if you name your kid Chuck, he's got a much higher likelihood of becoming a felon.
Well, but it's particularly call him Chuck throughout his childhood.
Yeah. Shouldn't he be called
Charlie?
Charlie or something when he's young?
And then Chuck.
Chuck, Chuck. It's either Chuck or two things. They're that one doll that stabs everybody, and then there's that horribly unfunny. Then there's Chuck Grodin, who's on 60 Minutes too, and he's even scarier than Chucky the doll, or at least less funny.
Annie.
Hello.
Annie's 22. What's up, Annie?
I have a very low sex drive. And it's really bothering me a lot. That I have a boyfriend. We've been together for a very long time. We've been together for about 4 years. And it's starting to, I wouldn't say affect our relationship. It's not. He's not mad. It's becoming an issue.
Yeah. Was it always this way in this relationship?
Yeah. I've never really had a high sex drive.
And you're on no medication.
I'm only on birth control.
And have you been on birth control for years and years?
For about 3 years, yeah.
And before the birth control, the sex drive was still low?
Yeah.
All right. Adam, you were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say, when she was saying she had a low sex drive and she was 22, I thought, well, maybe she's single and it'll all work out. But then she said she was with somebody, and I realized there was a problem. But, women aren't with guys for the same reason guys are with women, I mean, like, if you had a guy with a really low sex drive, he'd probably be single.
Right, that's right, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, in a way, it's almost like a guy could feel used. Because you're in this relationship just for everything but sex, and I'm not getting what I want, which is the only reason I'm here is for the sex. I mean, I pretend like I'm not here for the sex so I can get sex, ironically, but... Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I feel bad, and it's like I said, I just feel really bad.
How often are you having sex with him?
Not very much, like a couple of times a month.
So every other week.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm abnormal. That's what I feel like, because I'm defective or something.
Is it possible this relationship isn't quite what you think it is?
I don't think so. No.
Can I ask, is your self-image pretty good? How do you feel just about yourself?
Pretty good. I mean, I'm not, I'm pretty good.
How do you feel being naked?
Okay.
All right. As I notice, people who feel pretty good being naked seem to like sex a lot.
I wouldn't say I feel good being naked, but...
Hey, are we onto something there?
Yeah, do you have him does he have to turn the lights off when he has sex?
No, not necessarily.
All right, so it's not like you're uptight or you have a low self-image.
I don't know. No, that's not. No, I don't think that's it. I don't know what it is.
Have you been this way all the time?
Yes.
So it's just kind of your cadence is a little slow.
Yeah, and that's the way some people are.
Yeah, but it's making me feel really bad.
Can't you just put out? Why don't you just hold still and let him hump you once a week?
But that's not how I want it to be.
Yeah, I know, but it's not going to be how you want it to be.
Well, the beautiful thing about being a woman is that you can fake it.
That's true.
Absolutely.
I mean, multiple choices on fake orgasms.
Yeah, just go for it.
I would rather it not. I was wondering if there's, I don't know, is there like something I can do? I don't know if there's.
Well, yeah, you could train
or something.
Oh, I don't know about that, but you can train your mind to get off on pleasing your guy.
Right.
And then it just happens.
How about let me draw an analogy here, and I'd like the Barbi Twins to weigh in on this one. Drew, we always talk about this, that as a society, we never want to tell a woman, "Oh, just get busy."
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't like it, sister. Get in there and please your man a little bit. I mean, it sounds horrible. It sounds like we're talking about rape here. But there's so many things in life that you don't want to do, whether it's studying or working out. And people say, look, just turn off the TV and get busy. And when you do it, you feel better when you're done, and the more you do it, the easier it gets, and there's some repetition to it. And why is this so much different? I mean, every time you go to the gym, you don't feel like going to the gym, but you motivate, you get up, you go, you feel better when you get home. Why can't she treat it this way a little bit?
I agree with you, Adam, totally. I think that women and men are wired differently. But women, if they want to be with a man, have to understand that they think about sex 24 hours a day. And if they want to make that relationship work, they need to be a partner in that fantasy and help them out there. And you can actually increase your serotonin by going, I'm happy. So you can do that even with sex. You can actually visualize and start stimulating yourself any way it takes to get in there.
And, maybe he just needs to, bang some of the rust off,
And that is kind of interesting, though, that is part of a commitment, right? A commitment to helping the partner manage whatever.
Women love to be stroked and told they're beautiful. They're not.
Well, guys need to do that too, though. Guys need to make a commitment to really paying attention to that also.
Could there be something medically wrong with me?
It doesn't sound like you menstruate normally.
Yes.
You have normal body hair distribution, normal height and stature.
Yes.
Normal weight.
Yes.
And you're on no medication other than birth control pill and no medical problems.
No.
And it's been this way since you were 15.
Yeah. Yes.
You're just honest.
Yeah, so
there's so many women out there that fake orgasms.
I want to talk to the Barbie twins for a second about faking the orgasm.
A, B, C, or D.
That's the thing I find interesting because you mix them up, right? I mean, you give different fakes for different
absolutely.
positions.
The haunted house, the choo-choo train, the squeaky door, the goat. No, quite honestly, if you really get into opera. If you really get into it, really, you could get off, literally, on seeing your man guys like to think that it's them, but it's really the woman doing it in her head in conjunction with the man. You really have to participate yourself. You cannot sit there with a nail file.
All right, so give me a little sample of, let's say, the choo-choo train, the goat, the haunted house, the chupacabra. That was which
haunted
one?
House.
That's haunted house.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Choo-choo train.
Next stop, the refrigerator.
All right.
See, that was give me the goat. Do you have the goat?
That is so lame, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
That is.
See why we don't have
sexy.
Well, it was a goat, though.
Let's stick with the choo-choo train.
Let's put it this way. It's so unsexy, they believe it's real. Okay?
Right. Oh, look, we want to believe so...
Come on, when it sounds really sexy, I'm going fake.
Yeah, we really want to believe, and when you really want to believe... We're like those Mexican chicks who see Jesus in a tortilla. I mean, we want to believe so badly. He's just there.
We're here with the Barbie twins. They're signing calendars tomorrow night at the Tower on Sunset, 7 to 9 p.m. The book is Dying to Be Healthy. I want to hear a little more about what kind of medical problems you guys got into with all that. But we'll hear about that after the break. The Barbie twins are our guest. Adam...
He's in Las Vegas.
He's in Las Vegas. And Adam, remember Omar the other night who called, who had the dad from Zacatecas?
Yeah.
Well, I got an email from Graham who tells me that there is, in fact, a city in Mexico called Zacatecas.
Ah.
Which, when the mad stutterer pronounced it, it sounded like Zacatecas.
But is there a Eubangus Uranus?
No,
Mexico?
that was your hometown for his mother.
Was mine.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, poor
okay.
Omar. I feel bad for that.
Well,
I think that was a real call. I really do.
Drew, just apologize to Omar, and we'll move on.
I'm sorry, Omar, for my partner's behavior.
C and Shane are both here, better known as the Barbie twins. Dying to Be Healthy is the name of their book, and they're going to be at the Tower Sunset tomorrow at 7, signing calendars and pledging allegiance to the flag.
That's right, for Veterans Day.
Tower Records.
And your dad was a fighter pilot?
Yes.
What did he fly?
I don't even know. Isn't that...
That's what I love about chicks.
Hey, everything you heard about them is correct.
He asked that question because he's never met a woman who knew what the dad did in the military.
Oh, he's lucky to know he's in the military.
Right.
But he was a pilot during Vietnam?
No, actually during the last part of the Korean War.
Oh.
Wow.
So
that's great.
69.
What were those planes?
F-86s.
Yeah, wow.
Is that right?
With the Navigator?
Wow, I'm impressed.
I don't know.
Did they have?
Well, there's a whole bunch of them, but the little fighter one was probably an F-86.
Sit there and be pretty.
I'm impressed.
On the back cover of your book, it says near-death experiences with eating disorder. Were you hospitalized?
Yeah, my sister was. Actually, both of us. Here goes our calendar selves. I developed a fistula in the mouth from an infection.
From vomiting?
Well, a lot of people thought was that. Actually not. When your body becomes very acidic through ketosis, losing weight, and a lot of athletes are this way, your bones are really bad because your alkalis are robbed to neutralize the acids. So my jawbone kind of gave away, and I had an infection at the same time in my tooth, and it met up.
It went to the bone.
Yes, it went to the bone. It was a very serious operation because I had a heart murmur from dieting, and I decided to heal myself naturally and fast, and they said, you can't. It's like, the more you wait, the worse it is.
Yeah.
So I have panic attacks in hospitals. I'm very, very scared of doctors.
Did they think you had heart valve infection also?
No, they just said
there was
I
bone
had
infection.
Yes.
And just to clarify, you'll lose bone with bulimia because your estrogen levels go to zero.
That's true too.
Your immune system doesn't function, so a tooth infection that would otherwise be sort of contained can erode down into the bone.
Absolutely.
And then bone infections are really bad. Need IV antibiotics.
Yeah.
So you
I
had
had to get cortisone shots in my legs too, as well.
But the main
from
thing was
10 hours of exercise.
With her, she was in the hospital because she developed pernicious anemia, the fatal kind, where her body just shut down. It would not do anything. She was like a dead person. Her blood pressure was so low, it just didn't even exist. And that's what happens. Bulimia, people think here in America is just a mental disease, where in Europe they're finding out that it literally hits a body like AIDS, and it's a horrible disease. And here we see it later on as symptom complex as like chronic fatigue and into other diseases, and they never first diagnose it with bulimia. Yeah.
What did Karen Carpenter die of exactly?
Yeah, that was anorexia, but I did my research there. She really died of taking the laxatives, and I know a lot of people define bulimia as laxatives. When you're that thin and you take 50, whatever it was, Dulcolax or whatever, you are robbing the body of every electrolyte, and you're going to have a cardiac arrest, and your heart's going to be weak from dieting. And we felt in this land where everybody is doing crystal meth and even human growth hormone and all this, we thought, hey, we're just super healthy. We're only exercising 10 hours a day. We're superwoman, and we're excessively dieting in a healthy way and cleaning out our bodies. So we never saw it as a bad thing.
Right.
We thought we were just super
Later
healthy.
we found out that laxatives have ephedrine in them,
Some of
which
them
is
do.
like a speed.
Yeah, and we only took laxatives towards the
this
end.
business of treating people who are excessive
Junkies.
exercisers, that is one of the more difficult eating disorders to treat because of
Absolutely.
precisely what you're saying. The denial is supported by our culture, which is that, hey, you're just
Discipline.
extra healthy. You're you're just exercising more. What could be wrong with that? My trainer says it's good.
Yes.
My nutritionist says it's good, and it's all bad. It
really is.
You know when it's bad, when it's destructive.
Well, when it's taking over, you're supposed to get healthy to not think about the body and think about
my
high
dates had
thinking.
to do my exercise with me.
Yeah.
I would not stop my exercise. They'd have to come and run with me.
Or in the middle of the night.
balance. Fred is 23. Fred?
Oh, Dr. Drew, thank you very much for taking this call. I'm filled with anxiety. And the situation is I've been calling AIDS hotlines all over the country. It's been like an AIDS hotline telethon for my house, and I'm getting conflicting information, so I knew I should come to you. The situation is I met a girl, and it was kind of like a one-night thing, but there was no penetration involved, but only genital to genital contact. And
Is she an AIDS patient?
I'm just suspicious right now, just because her. I don't know if she is, but assuming
Is she an IV drug user?
She just has a wild lifestyle. I can't really go into specifics because I don't know too much about her.
What's wild about it?
Well, first of all, I just met her, and she was willing to do whatever on that night, and just by some of her behavior.
Fred, you're freaking out.
If every woman that behaved like that had HIV, we'd have half the population gone here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Assuming if she was, though. Was there a possibility?
From non-penetration?
Non-penetration.
What?
It was brief, but the thing is, she was menstruating the same day.
Yeah.
And I mean, not at the moment that there was contact. She wasn't gushing forth blood like right then.
Gushing?
Yeah, but
quite an image you paint. What was it? What was the contact? I'm quite clear on that yet.
The contact was just like that's all it was contact, like maybe brushing against each other.
But how about your urethra? Did the opening to your penis touch anything moist in her?
I mean, I can't recall. If so, it was very brief.
All right. Well, just Fred, this would be we'd send you to the CDC if you got HIV from this. Really?
Yeah, you mean for them to study?
Yeah, we'd have to study you to figure out why you contracted a difficult disease to contract after no contact, basically.
Fred, why are you so paranoid?
Well,
That's the
actually,
question.
it's funny that you mentioned the CDCs because I was doing pretty cool, and then I called the CDC and I talked to a couple of the people there, and they said, yeah, actually there is a possibility because you could exchange fluids.
Oh, Fred,
And
please.
then-
Adam, ask him your question again.
Look, he's paranoid. Get Fred off the line. Fred, stop. You're a 26-year-old man. You're supposed to feel invincible. You're supposed to be having anal sex with Haitian junkies at 26.
Wear condoms, know your partners, be careful, and just stop.
What is it?
around.
I don't trust guys who worry too much about themselves. And let me take this moment to say this about AIDS. See, this is what we've done. We've thoroughly freaked everybody out with all the left-wing homos saying anyone can get AIDS. It's everyone's disease. Everyone has a chance. It doesn't discriminate against sexual proclivity or skin color or ethnicity. We do all this crap. We beat the crap out of everybody, and now everyone's paranoid. The people that have AIDS are junkies and who else, Drew? The gays. These are the guys with the AIDS.
In this country.
It's the needle and the butt love.
In this country.
That's the AIDS. In this country, yes. Yes. Can heterosexual people get it? Yes. Is it rare? Yes. He doesn't have it from doing this.
Lisa.
And I think we do everyone a disservice by freaking everyone out with this.
Lisa.
Yeah.
What's up?
I just got my tongue pierced, and it's pussing.
AIDS.
No.
Forget what I said. You got AIDS. It's pussing. Yes.
It's really, really swollen. I mean, it's not like really, it's like a red.
Did you go to a piercing place?
Yeah.
Did you talk to them about what to expect?
Yeah.
And are you using those mouthwashes they gave you?
Yeah.
Are you using ice on it?
Yeah.
If you're concerned about it, call them back. They have a lot of experience with this stuff. I worry about these things. They can swell up like crazy, get infected, occlude your airways. It can be a huge mess. If there's any concern at all, go to an emergency room, but give the people that did this thing a chance to instruct you before you do anything like that, okay?
Yeah, there's one more question.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. When's you know anything about these tongue rings and stuff?
Yeah?
When's the earliest I can get oral sex?
Tonight.
Yeah, if you
about a half hour ago.
Yeah, if you survive the night, yeah. Talk to them at the piercing place. These epithelialize pretty quickly, but I would think it would be a couple of weeks. I'd still expect that.
The Barbie twins aren't into all the weird piercings, are you guys?
No, I think it can look sexy on certain people, but no, I even took them out of my ears.
Really?
I stay away from metal.
The thing that's really funny about life is that's not your vice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk to people all day long who are pushing stuff through their skin and painting on themselves and putting beads in their penis, and that's their thing.
We don't even wear jewelry, though. We're kind of weird in that way.
You got something else going, or you had something else going, and that was your thing. But it doesn't bleed over into other things.
You don't get everything.
I like that.
Yeah, you get bulimia or you get piercings.
Exactly.
Don, 20.
Hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
All right. I just want to say I listen to you guys' shows a lot, and first of all, I love you, Adam. You're great. Dr. Drew, I think you do great stuff for us.
Well, thanks,
helping
Don.
everybody. It's just totally awesome.
What can we do for you?
All right. Well, I've known this girl for about 5 years, and we've been good friends. We talk a lot. For the most part, she's lived about 3 hours away, so it was more of a long-distance relationship thing. And, I mean, when we get together, there's stuff would happen. We make out and kiss and different kind of stuff. Just recently, within last few weeks, she's moved closer and we've gotten more intimate, and we've just remained friends and stuff. And we've had sex and stuff like that, but I'm really wanting to get a relationship because now that she's closer, I'm not worried about the long distance thing at all.
Have you told her this?
I have. I've talked to her about it,
And what
and
did she
she's
say?
not against doing all the extracurricular activities, but she is not really interested in a relationship. But the thing is, I am, and I'm not sure if I want to do all this stuff without the relationship.
Yeah, you're not going to let her fool you into getting a BJ without wearing your ring.
It sounds like
genius.
He's healthier than she is. He wants a real relationship. She doesn't want one, and that's a deal breaker, basically.
What do you guys think? Do you think his only shot is to kind of pull back a little bit and see if she comes to him?
I don't think she's coming to him.
You don't think so?
No, not the way he wants it.
If he wanted her to, wouldn't that be his only angle?
You guys have
to pull back?
Yeah, to pull away.
Yeah, definitely, because there's it looks not very masculine when you start smothering. It looks, because it's unusual. I mean, we're used to men being Neanderthal and pulling our hair.
Girls don't like guys that are attach themselves. They want to give birth to that. They don't want to have sex with that.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
Same place, though, ultimately.
Yeah, it's true. One's going out and one's coming in, though.
But, and then going out again. And then I'm done.
Yeah.
That's it. Once in, out, I'm done. And I count the initial going in as once. But in general, wouldn't all of you agree that your only shot when you're in this kind of situation, and we talk to these people all night, every night, is you tell the person what you want, and then you just pull back.
Right. And
that's your only shot.
Mm-hmm.
And if they come after you, fine. But if not, you were never going to get it.
And I think Don is just healthier than his friend, and he's got to recognize that he needs more from a relationship than she has to offer, and that's reality. If he wants to drag it along the way he's been going and it's not too painful to him, fine. Otherwise, he's got to get away.
Yeah, you can't force it.
Sometimes women fake like they just want the casual sex because they don't want to scare the guy away.
Yes, all the time.
So he might be pleasantly surprised. She may want it to.
Adam, we got to go to break again.
All righty. So we got the Barbi Twins here. I'm in Vegas, and we'll be right back after this.
Loveline, I'm Dr. Drew here with the Barbi Twins. Adam Carolla.
In Las Vegas.
Yes,
today.
sir.
Yeah. Let's see if we can burn up a few more calls before we call it a night.
We go through a lot of calls when you're not sitting here, by the way.
Thanks, jackass.
But also, I think you and I get along a little better when you're not sitting here, too. Maybe we had I don't know, this kind of works, doesn't it?
Oh, we miss him.
Yeah,
you do.
To
see you in person.
I miss you guys too, but I'm gonna be with you as soon as I get back to LA and I go through my closet.
All right.
Jerry is 27. Jerry.
Oh yes, Dr. Drew. This is probably more of a question for you. I'm taking a drug test tomorrow, and I smoked marijuana about less than a week ago, Saturday night exactly. And I just found out yesterday that I have to take a drug test tomorrow for this job. And I wanted to know what are my chances of passing, if there's any home remedies I can take.
And that was your first. That was your first exposure in a long time.
It was the first.
Or was that the last time you? Was that when you stopped smoking pot every day?
No, I've done it maybe about a handful of times in the last 2 or 3 months.
How about
what job are you going for?
I'm going for a AV tech position.
AD?
AV. Audiovisual.
And does that mean when you say, how many times in the last 2 weeks have you smoked pot?
The last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Twice. And both are a week apart.
Yeah, you'll probably be fine. Don't skip your breakfast. You got to eat. If you start losing weight, if you start mobilizing fat, you can mobilize pot. Stay well hydrated, but don't take any of these adulterating.
Yeah, I've heard that they can show up as
that we are looking for that. If you have any evidence that you've been trying to adulterate your urine, that is a positive test.
What if he drinks it like the Barbi Twins?
Drinks the urine?
We never did.
No,
they just stared at the
said
sun.
earlier you drank your own urine. I heard you plain as day.
This is Chris, 2020. Chris.
Yeah. All right. My girlfriend, she won't masturbate, and I don't think she's ever had an orgasm. So I want to know, what can I do?
How old is she?
She's 17.
Yeah. It's hard to
wait
get
till
someone.
30.
Yeah, I was going to say, give her some time. let her grow into it.
I mean, this is the problem, quite frankly, too, when you're 20 and you're dating a 17-year-old. You know, at 20, you should be dating a 23-year-old. I mean, if you want to have some fun sexually. Because you end up being this sort of, this Svengali sexually. You know what I mean? You have to teach them everything and hope they catch on and hope they've been doing their masturbatorial studies and not cheating or writing the answers on their wrists or anything. If she's not into it at this age, she just may be a few years off. I don't know if you're going to be able to talk her into it.
Well, I don't know if I want to talk her into it. I just, you know, isn't there like some technique or something that might help?
Ladies?
Well,
No.
the tongue is nice.
I always say it's not the guy, it's the woman. The woman sexually stimulates herself in the brain. She gets excited being with you. So it's not you. Don't take it personal. It's about her. She's just not, she's too young. At that age, girls want to be told they're pretty. They're not into their senses yet. Some are.
All right, so what's his only angle? Just sort of kiss a lot of ass and
I like
make her
what
feel
you
good?
said. Well, yeah. I mean, if you want a sweet little cuddly relationship, fine. But I go with what you say, a 23-year-old for him.
This is Tim, 30.
Hello?
Tim?
Is this Dr. Drew?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, hey, maybe someone's playing prank on me, but they wanted me to call your show.
What did they want?
About what?
Did Drew call asking about something? What happened?
You know, I'm the guy who walks around, has a broadcast system, is under surveillance all the time.
And what?
Tim, the crazy person?
I guess.
Oh, okay, Drew, let's make this easy. What does it say on the screen?
Does Adam want to talk to this guy? Says he's John Rocker.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's John Rocker?
John Rocker's the controversial
Baseball
pitcher who was with the Atlanta Braves, who
that
made
said
all
all
those
these
racial
bigotry
slurs
stuff.
about New York. Drew, please.
So handsome.
How is it you know nothing about anything?
I only know him
All
because
the
he's
time.
handsome.
John, 32.
Really? You into him?
Oh, yeah, he's so handsome. I think he's, not very bright with what he says, but at least he says what he feels.
Right. All right. Bigots can be attractive, too, I think the point is.
John.
Yes.
What's going on?
There's this girl that I've been in love with for, almost a couple of years now, and she's a really good friend of mine, but she doesn't feel the same. So how do I get over her?
Not be around her so much.
Yeah, you just got to back off and whack off.
Here's what here's what you're asking. How do I get her? Which is not what's going to happen.
Oh, very good.
Right.
Yeah, and so when we say, "Hey, stay away from her, get over it," you're like, "Oh, you're disappointed." That's supposed to help me. No, you've got to deal in reality. The reality is this is not going to be a relationship, and why continue to punish yourself? Once you've had a few months to mourn the loss of this fantasy, then you can have a friendship again. But in the meantime, no way.
Yeah,
Don't even ask about this anymore.
There's
That will leave it
one chance in 100 you're going to get her, and that's if you back off.
He is not gonna
1 in 100, and that's backing off. So that's your only recourse.
It's 0 in 100 by any other route.
Would you shut up, Drew? It's 1 in 100 if he does what we tell him to do. Is that so bad?
And it's 0 if he does anything else.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Drew's right. Sorry, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a break. What do you say?
Yeah, it's good. You're off to the Valentine Gardens or wherever you go.
No, I'm going to come back and say bye.
Olympic Gardens. That's right. Okay, all right, good.
Who's John Rocker? Do you see what I have to deal with?
Relax. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Drew. I'll wrap up the show.
Oh, okay, Adam. You go ahead and do that.
That's the least I can do. I want
The
to
Barbi Twins are just making fun of me for being a nerd.
Okay.
No,
I
I
don't
don't. Just
think
the
you're-
opposite.
Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
All right. Sia and Shane, the Barbi Twins, for coming in here tonight, or coming over there tonight. Dying to Be Healthy is the name of the book, and they're going to be signing a calendar at Tower Sunset tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Right. It's all for a good cause. So get down there and see the girls in the flesh. I want to thank you guys for coming in, and I promise I will be there next time
Will you?
come in.
All right.
Absolutely. I want to thank Ann for doing a great job lining up the guests and producing the show all week long. Engineer Anderson for working his magic fingers. Tara, don't call me Tara, for doing a mediocre job on the phones all week. And, of course, Damien and Lauren. I'm not sure what they do, but I see them around there myself. So, until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo.
This has been Loveline. The opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the staff, management, sponsors, or this station. The producer for Loveline is Ann Wilkins Ingold. Loveline is a presentation of Westwood One Entertainment.